Good editing can mask a continuity gaffe, diminish the impact of a bad performance, or even turn a meandering scene into a rapid-fire sequence of punchy one-liners. So it's no surprise that filmmakers love tinkering with their projects for months on end, so much so that they can occasionally continue to tinker even after their movies have been screened to the public. Whatever the reason, it's quite fun to imagine that a lot of people out there actually saw the untouched versions of these movies before they were taken back to the editing bay for a final snip. So with all that in mind, I'm Gareth from WhatCulture.com, and here are 6 movies that were changed after they were released. Number 6. Chow Yun-fat's role was cut in half. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. It's not unheard of for movies to try and tailor their content for their films specifically towards the lucrative Chinese market. Even as far back as 2007's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, movies have been tweaked and edited with the sole intention of drawing the most money from the Chinese audience. The swashbuckling threequel starred Asian actor Chow Yun-fat as Sao Feng. In the version of the film that was released in the US and UK in May 2007, the character had roughly 20 minutes of screen time. But this cut was heavily edited to reduce that time significantly, just in time for the movie's Chinese launch in June. The decision was ultimately made to strip down the character's screen time because Sao Feng's presence was being described as a way of defacing the Chinese. In the end, the film made just $16 million in China, so securing a release there didn't really matter too much anyway, did it? Number 5. Steven Spielberg changed guns into walkie-talkies. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. All the effort that a director pumps into their chosen project can lead to a bit of a growing feeling of ownership, which in turn can lead to a desire to continually tweak their movies in order to make them perfect. Steven Spielberg had this type of relationship with his 1982 classic E.T., with the director choosing to make several unnecessary edits to the movie long after its original release, alterations that made it onto the 20th anniversary edition in 2002. One odd alteration cropped up during the scene where Elliot and E.T. ride a bike away from some federal agents. Those agents were originally holding guns, but for some reason he delved back into the film and changed the weapons into walkie-talkies. Yeah. Funnily enough, he now regrets the change and has stated that he will never ever re-edit one of his films again. Thank you, Steve. Number 4. George Lucas puts together a completely different sound mix, Star Wars: A New Hope. Because Fox didn't really have much faith in Star Wars back in 1977, it was only released on a small number of screens. But the studio still wanted to show the film in the best possible picture and sound quality available, and so they put it into theaters with 70mm projection systems and full Dolby surround sound. However, the majority of cinemas at the time only had 35mm projectors and mono sound systems. So, after George Lucas and his team had finished and released that initial cut for 70mm screens, they had to go back to the film and put together a separate mono audio mix for those, let's say, less capable theaters. But pure sound quality wasn't the only change Lucas focused on. Some of the dialogue and sound effects were directly altered, and the mono mix even contained some extra dialogue that wasn't actually in the surround mix. The changes marked one of the first times of many that Lucas tweaked his magnum opus. And boy, don't we know it. Number 3. Significant edits turned the movie from a flop into an Oscar winner, Cinema Paradiso. Giuseppe Tornatore's Oscar-winning drama was first released in November 1988 in the director's home country of Italy. But it underperformed at the box office and didn't make much of a splash. This version was 155 minutes long, which, considering that the film is quite slow, was likely a big reason why audiences weren't really that interested. Over the next 2 years, the movie was released in a host of international territories, but major changes to its runtime had been implemented in order to make it a bit more commercially viable. Over 30 minutes of footage was chopped, and this version of the film was a hit, going on to win Best Foreign Language Film at the 1990 Academy Awards. In 2002, Tornatore went back to his film once more and crafted a 3-hour-long director's cut, an edit that can be found on Blu-ray and DVD copies of the film, if you've got a spare 180 minutes lying around. Number 2, Disney had to change some racist song lyrics, Aladdin. At face value, Disney's 1992 animated classic seems like one of the least offensive movies ever made, with its light-hearted humor and whimsical characters. However, a vocal group of Arab Americans took issue with certain lyrics in the song Arabian Nights and labeled them as racist. As a result, Disney were forced to alter said lyrics months after the film had been released in cinemas. Originally, the lyrics went as follows: Nope, not singing. Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your fate, it's barbaric, but hey, it's home. But after Disney met up with members of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, the "where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face" lyrics were changed to "where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense." Arab groups also pushed for the word barbaric to be removed as well, but Disney insisted that the term referred to the unforgiving terrain and not the people. Number 1, the movie was patched to fix its visual effects. Cats. Cats quickly became the internet's favourite punching bag immediately after its bizarre-looking debut trailer dropped in the summer of 2019. The main target of that mockery was the movie's visual effects, transforming a litter of famous faces into nightmarish human-feline hybrids that the masses struggled to take seriously. The filmmakers started tweaking and refining the CGI shortly after the trailer backlash became a big problem, and they only fully finished the film the day before its London premiere. Because of all this last-minute tinkering, Universal notified cinemas during its opening weekend that an updated version of Cats was available for download, one that contained improved visual effects. This unusual turn of events was reportedly requested by director Tom Hooper, who clearly felt rushed and wanted to ensure that everything was as polished as possible, even if that meant tinkering with the movie way past when it should have been completed by. And that's our list. Know of any other movies that were tweaked after they'd already been released? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Gareth Morgan from WhatCulture.com, and I'm sure that I'll see you soon.